We are live, 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 live. I'll just say the word live for the next 60 seconds. I like to try to give it a good minute, let people, anyone who's playing on the internet can log on and they have a chance to catch me on this unannounced live Mindset Monday because I do it different times every freaking time. You have a chance to catch me when you can, right? You can then maybe throw a question in the chat if you need answers to something, and sometimes I can address those. And that's fun to do a little Q&A for some guys, see if we get into things. That ends up making the video last more than 5 minutes. As all of my videos last more than 5 minutes, pretty much. Even the ones that I say are going to last 5 minutes, then they end up being 10 or 15 or whatever. But it's fun. We did a Q&A yesterday, just kind of a Valentine's Day message, and addressed whether or not Valentine's Day is even relevant in 2021. And lots of dudes jumped on there, and I don't know, had like over 100 people, I think, at one point, asking a lot of questions and all that. So there's Jerry, who wants to know the estimated lifetime. I don't know, man. I haven't figured out which time I want to do it at yet, because I book consultations and not always at the same time every single Monday. So I'm just doing it around my consultation schedule. No, your 4 and 9-year-old are going to watch. Better censor myself then. What do we start? Well, if I mark it over 18, then you'll know it's probably something we shouldn't talk about in front of a 4 or 9-year-old. Yeah. So anyways, good morning, some of you guys. Good afternoon to those of you guys who are closer to the Eastern Standard Time zone that I'm in. Yeah, so don't work with dishonorable people. So this came up because I'm looking at, some attention had been brought, some things have been brought to my attention, we'll say. Now, if you hadn't noticed, a little bit of something about me is I insulate myself a bit from the outside world in a sense, not like in a way where I'm like living on a mountaintop and I have my meditation schedule and I've sworn off any kind of electronic communication, obviously, because we're doing this on YouTube. I do stay in touch with what's going on in the world, but I found a long time ago that people are really after a piece of your ass. All right. Like the marketplace and advertising, and they're all after a piece of your ass. They're after your wallet. They're after your ideas. They want to occupy space and time in your brain. When you log on to Facebook and mindlessly scroll through your Facebook news feed, there's a lot of things that you might not overtly notice that are designed to manufacture ideas for you, that are designed to pull you into different directions. They're designed to advertise products and things for you, and so on. And in some ways designed to keep you anxious, and designed to keep you, mentally unstable, because mentally unstable and anxious people buy more shit. That's just the reality of it. So there's an economic value to keeping you on their platforms, whether it's Facebook or whether it's the television used to be the thing, whatever it is, news, media sources, so on and so forth. And people share from those sources. Then you read those articles, and then you get fired up. And then you get into a mental state where you think the world's falling apart or whatever, instead of doing actionable things in your life to make your world that you're in and the people around you, to making those things amazing and making for an awesome lifestyle and actually doing stuff. People get caught up into all these other things going on around them. So, and there's a lot of pretty crappy people out there too that have platforms that do different things. Certainly a lot of these people are way more popular than I am too on these spaces like YouTube or whatever. And I just don't care about what they do. You get involved into other people's crap, and it's just like, I have my frame, right? And if I'm allowing myself to get pulled in different directions and to get into other people's stuff, then I'm allowing somebody else or some outside entity or source to control my frame. I'm no longer on what we call my mental point of origin. So when I consume content somewhere, it's because I choose to do it. I hope that you guys, well, I know for a fact that you guys who are, consuming my content, you're doing it by choice, because I'm not even monetized. So I'm not even feeding. Eventually I will get monetized or whatever, and there'll be advertisements on my channel, but I'm not even doing that much. You know what I mean? So I'm not even searchable because I'm mostly shadow banned. So you guys got my stuff through some sort of search that you did, which, maybe I showed up, but I rarely do. I don't show up like I should. Or you got me through seeing me someplace else or on somebody else's platform, or you got it shared to you or whatever. And that's how you got here. And when you subscribe to my channel and you log on to my stuff and whatever, jump on a live feed or something, you're doing it out of your own free will, right? That's what you want to do. And that's how you should handle content. And that's how I handle content. It keeps you mentally stable. It keeps you mentally sane. Instead of somebody else controlling your mind state, you now control your mind state. If I want to learn about some sort of problem that's going on in the world, I voluntarily do so by searching along platforms and doing searches to find stuff out through reliable sources that I hopefully have vetted out as best as I can, instead of just being inundated with things that are going on, you know what I mean, that don't affect my life directly. And so and I can't do anything about those things they're going to do is occupy mental space, emotional space, and maybe cause me to get fired up or get some discussion online or whatever. You see that with political discussions, but really nobody's changing anything. Nobody's making a difference. Nobody's really doing anything. And I don't want to be caught up in that nonsense. I'd rather focus on my purpose. And so, shit, that could be the mindset Monday right there, is to, dopamine detox, get rid of all this crap, and then start from scratch and decide what content you want to consume. Really, your brain is a garbage in, garbage out thing. And if you're just allowing passively through passive, without thinking about it, letting a lot of garbage come into your brain, really is going to affect your mental state. It's going to affect your level of anxiety, your level of stress, and your emotional state when you handle women, when you handle your kids, your family, people in business, your coworkers. How you react to the outside world is predicated on that mental state. And that mental state can be formulated by what you're allowing to come into your brain, even if it's just passive, you know what I mean? In fact, passive is sometimes the worst, because if I'm watching something that I know is, if I watch someone going on some crazy rant, for example, some extreme, crazy, politically charged rant, if I'm watching it consciously, I can make the conscious decision to recognize that this person's a little bit crazy, this person's overly emotional, the points that they're making aren't all true, so on and so forth, right? But if I'm just passively allowing myself to digest this content, well, I'm not really making that distinction in my own head. I'm just letting it pass into my brain. And next thing you know, you start thinking crazy. You know what I mean? You start getting emotional. This is how people get into that state and going down that road, And so why do that, right? But anyway, I got a little question. Is this a question? Oh yeah, how he found me. Yeah, through other people's stuff, right? Yep. Yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And that's it. And that means you're here voluntarily. That's cool. Eventually there's really no such thing as a dopamine detox. All right. So I'm going to have some guy get into a nerdy thing about it. Whatever, man. Send me an email. Tell me how there's no such thing. Fuck. You know what I mean? I disagree. So tell me how tell me what you mean. There's no such thing as a dopamine detox. Okay. I'm not even gonna defend that on this live thing. So send me an email and then tell me how that's wrong, and then maybe I'll address it in another thing. Let's see. I think I've started too much red pill content. Yeah, dude. Look, even the red pill content, man, like some of it can be really negative and nihilistic. So you got to balance out what you're consuming. It's not The truth is just the truth. You want to be able to see it from a neutral perspective. But if you're seeing things that are true and then putting a lot of, negative thoughts and connotations on that, for example, that's not going to help you. Right? It's going to put you in a pretty negative space. Um, and that's, you don't want to be in a negative space like that, right? It's going to affect how you interact with women. It's going to affect the quality of your relationships. Some guys I talk to, in consultations, it's like they can't even enjoy dates. They can't even enjoy going on a date with a girl. We can't even enjoy like meeting a new chick and seeing how that goes. They have trouble finding real joy in that because they're so polluted with negative thoughts and ideas and beliefs based on maybe red pill content. You know what I mean? They got hurt when they were blue pilled. So they got, they fell on their face when they were blue pilled. So they came to some things that were more true, right? And then they jumped on to the true stuff. And then though they went down a negative direction because it's their brain is trying to help them avoid that danger of, being harmed again, right? So you latch on to all of the negative input because I say negative input, but you're looking at things and you're seeing it in a negative way. For example, right? Like something as simple as, okay, alpha, lays, beta pays, right? Type of thing, right? Or, that sort of thing, right? The alpha beta dynamic, strategic pluralism. Guys will see that as a whole negative thing. I don't. I just see it for what it is. And then I figure out, okay, what can I do with this information? What I can do with the information is learn how to be that alpha person, right? Well, I'm already am, and you guys already are too. There's already some of that in you regardless, but how do I allow myself to embody the traits that are more the alpha traits? How do I learn how to show up and be, the part of who I am already, which is that alpha person? It just allows me, it gives me the information I need, to show up and be more attractive and be more desirable. So it's not really bad that's not a bad thing, but guys will jump onto strategic pluralism and go, man, women are deceptive. They're just going to, they're going to see dudes as beta. They're going to try to, get guys to, whatever, they jump on all the negative aspects of it instead of saying, oh, how can I use this for the better? You know what I mean? How can I use this to get what I want? How can I use this to have better relationships with people? Because these are the facts, and these are facts I didn't know before. Now that I know this thing, I go, oh, shoot, now I know why when I did those beta behaviors, it wasn't working for me and getting me what I wanted. So now, cool, I have the, I'm sure you should be excited about the information. Go, cool, I know how I can do other things now that would be more attractive and I get better results, right? That would be a way of looking at it. But man, like, you start jumping into this content and it's like story and thing after thing that's just completely negative and completely hopeless. Well, it's not hopeless, man. Like there's no hopelessness that you have to have, I mean, things are as good as you can make them, and all you guys are capable of making them good. There's not anybody, I don't think there's anybody in this chat, there's nobody I've run into that doesn't have the capabilities. Even some of you guys who are, complete weirdos socially. Some of you, that's okay. I mean that with all the care in the world. I'm not slamming on you, but some of you guys who come across like total social weirdos, man. But you don't have to, how you learn more social calibration. You get better at it. Just some people are, you need to do more work than others, but it's fine, dude. You get what you want, oh boy, cohabitation question. Holy smokes. We're getting off the rails. That's okay. I'll answer that question about cohabitation. All right, but here's what I'm going to talk. It was mentioned first for the Mindset Monday things. Look, I came to my knowledge that there's other like dating coaches, pickup coaches, grifters that are out there and they're promoting information. Some of the stuff they promote is garbage and doesn't work. Some of it might get you some results and does kind of work. It's across the board. You know what I mean? But What my vetting process when I decide to work with somebody or whether I decide to take someone's advice is whether or not they're an honorable person, you know? And what I mean by honorable, like, are you a piece of crap? All right. Or are you not a piece of crap? That's kind of like the simple way of vetting somebody out. If this dude is a piece of crap, I don't really want his advice. You know what I mean? If he's a shitty person, I don't want to take advice from a shitty person. I don't want to work with someone who's a shitty person. Even if that guy has a million followers on YouTube, even if that guy has a ton of social status, even if that guy has a ton of things that he could actually be offering the world, if he's a shitty person, it's just going to go bad. And I don't really want to work with that person. As far as taking advice, I'm not really interested in learning from someone who's a shitty person because some of that advice that they're giving me, although some of it might be good, there's going to be stuff in there that I might not discern or realize if I'm not paying attention. That's just really the kinds of things a shitty person would do. And so if I emulate that or take that advice or action on that, I might be doing things that a shitty person would do. And I'm not a shitty person. Okay. It's just that simple. Now, some of these guys in the space, like you got these weird, it's just nerdy, they're in this internet competition with each other on Twitter and they're just freaking dorks, man. And they're instead of providing like content of value, and I'm not going to mention names and get into all that stuff because then I'm going down the same road they are. So we're just going to speak in generalities here. But if you're watching somebody and they're sitting there doing a takedown video, talking crap about somebody for clickbait and for clout, is that person really a good person? Now, sometimes, yeah, it might be necessary because there's grifters and people that are scam artists out there. So exposing scam artists, okay, that makes sense. But how are they doing it though? Are they focusing on the content of that the person's putting out and if they're saying lies and making things up, or are they focused on the character problems of that person, right? So I mean, there's a couple of people I know who do like takedown stuff, but they're good people for one, and they're not trying to show pictures of the guy's family or make fun of the guy's wife or girlfriend or daughter or kids, or attack the person, just to name call and attack them just for do those ad hominem attacks on this person. That's not what these guys are doing that do good takedown videos. What they're doing is they're attacking the information and content that they're putting out and the things that they're doing that lack integrity or lack character or lack ethics. So they're attacking the behavior of the person that lacks the ethics. They're attacking the content and maybe if there's unethical marketing, for example, or unethical, over promising and under delivering, things like that. Those are things that I would say I can understand doing a takedown video and attacking those things. All right. That's not how I want to build my brand and what I'm doing. I would rather give you guys actionable advice that'll help your life versus focusing on somebody else's content and bullshit they're pointing out. I don't really care what other people are putting out necessarily. Okay. I'm going to put out stuff that I think that I know works, and then you guys are going to action that stuff. That's more important to me. But some of my guys that I know, people I know, will do these takedown videos and do content like that, but they really try to focus. I mean, there might be some things said in humor, like we're kind of all a-holes. We're all a-holes in our own little way, right? But really their focus is more on the content and the lack of ethical behavior. And when that's the focus, I get that. But there are people out there though that are sitting there talking crap about, dudes, some guy, some other creator, some other dating coach or whatever. They're going to talk about his family. They're going to talk about, try to find pictures on the internet of the guy's kids or something, or try to find pictures of the internet of the guy's girlfriend, and then talk, trash talk her girlfriend, and then a lot of these guys too, there's these coaches out there that they try to go, okay, well, let me show you the receipts. Let me show you the proof. And then they're out in, Brazil or Poland or somewhere where, first of all, you don't really need game skills if you go to Brazil. Just in case you were wondering, there's hot women that'll sleep with you if you're from the United States. And that's simply the reason, for very little money. In fact, you can buy hookers that are blow away the kind of prostitutes you would find in the United States. You will find those for a fraction of the cost, and better looking oftentimes, and cooler to be around in Brazil. Now, I'm not condoning paying for vagina, but I'm just telling you, it's guys who are talking about how cool they are at game, how cool they are at pickup, and then they're going and picking up prostitutes and taking, doing social proof videos with hoes. That's not really, you know what I mean? That's not really showing you anything or demonstrating anything. What those guys are grifting. They're unethical. They're patting themselves on the back saying, hey man, look how cool I am. Look, none of my videos are about how cool I am. All my videos are about what you can do to be better in actionable things, actionable advice, or we dive deep into topics or whatever. I'm not that interested, in showing you guys how awesome I am. A little bit of social proof is cool, but I mean, when guys are clearly, if I'm going to go fly out to Brazil or fly out to Eastern Europe somewhere and just pull hose, it's the level of difficulty of that is so, it's on easy mode. It's like beating a video game on easy mode or super easy mode and then saying, see how awesome I am. Now let me give you all the advice on how to beat this game. Like, whatever, man. It's just not that, it doesn't demonstrate that much skill, especially and you don't know the backstory, but a lot of times these guys are paying for it. So you got those grifters who are doing those things. And to me, that's unethical. They're presenting things that are not, they're presenting a result that isn't really the result. You know what I mean? That's not real, because there's things behind that they're failing to mention. Like, they paid for this chick that they're doing a pickup on, right? For an infield or whatever. Or this chick that they have, that they're claiming is their girlfriend is really the girl that they're paying, is really a sugar baby that they're paying for very little money out in South America somewhere. Not quite the same, dude. And these people, yes, they do exist. And then, but more so is like, what kind of advice are they putting out? What's their personality? Are they attacking other people? Like, are they being a-holes? Are they being pieces of crap? Now, some of you guys are listening to me talk right now and you're like, of course, dude, I'm not going to listen to someone who's a piece of crap. If someone's a shitty person, I don't care to have that, to listen to their stuff. That's good. A lot of you guys are ahead of the game on this, but some of you guys are out here and you're seeing my channel, you're seeing other people's content or whatever, and you're trying to figure out, what's good to get the results that you want. Maybe you're trying to get more women into your life and higher quality women, right? So you're out there, you want to improve your dating abilities. And so you're going to latch on to somebody, a content creator, a dating coach, or whoever, right? And you're going to try to improve those abilities. Well, some of you guys aren't vetting this stuff out, man. Like, if you're getting involved with some of these guys who are clearly a-holes and have no sense of ethics or morality, and it seems real clear with how they're presenting themselves on the internet and the things that they say, the way that they might attack others and what they're doing, common sense should tell you to stay away from those people, right? Common sense will tell you that you can't trust even the information that they're putting out, because the results that they're saying that they're getting or they've gotten are probably all bullshit anyway. They're probably all inflated, And so some of you guys need a little help in vetting other men and vetting other people for, seeing who you would want to work with in the future, whether it's in your personal lives, let's say business partnerships, clients, things like that, right? Or who you want to work with in the future in terms of getting advice off of YouTube, for example, or getting advice from paid consultations or courses or any of that stuff. I'm just going to tell you, for me, and this has been something that's worked well for me for a long time now, is if someone is a piece of crap, in other words, their ethics are terrible, they don't have any honor in what they do, okay, then I keep them away from me. It's pretty much that simple. If somebody is not an honorable person, I don't have them around. I'm not interested in their content, not interested in really learning anything from them, because guess what? I can get find somebody who knows the same, if not better or more stuff, who is honorable. You know what I mean? And I'd rather support that person, learn from that person. It's just going to make your life better and not put and prevent you from having to vet out a lot of bad stuff into into your life, especially if you're talking about hiring somebody or working with a client, your business, or working with a business partner. You don't want to work with somebody who has poor ethics. It doesn't matter what their talents is like. It doesn't matter what they have to offer. And so if they're not an honorable person, that's my advice. Mindset Monday. Don't work with that person. Don't bring them into your life. It's just like chicks. Okay. If I'm looking at chicks to have as casual dating scenarios, plates, whatever you want to call it, am I picking a girl who's toxic? Well, if I find out that she's toxic and has a lot of problems, I'm just inviting those problems into my life. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to want to pick that girl. I'm going to want to pick the girl who's not toxic, but who's also hot and has all those other things that I want. You know what I mean? That's just a better way to go about it, you know? And so it's an easier decision to make when you're talking about other men, we'll say people that you want in your life, not outside of the dating world, whether it's people you're taking advice from, people you're buying products from, people you're working with, business clients, friendships, social circles, whatever. If you invite toxic, crappy people into your life, it's not even so much toxic. We all have those toxic friends or whatever that just they maybe suck with women, and they just they are always dating the BPD girl, or they're always doing this or that. We might have those types of people, right? But I mean, are they shitty people though? Do they have bad ethics, bad morals? Are they dishonorable people? These are the people you don't want around you. You know what I mean? Because eventually they're going to stab you in the back, even if it's, or you're buying their products, which is supporting them to continue to be shitty people, or, you're taking advice from them, and then some of that advice might be polluted with their shitty, poor, dishonorable ethics. And now you're going to end up adopting some of that and making some mistakes. Why put yourself through that? So that's the mindset Monday piece. All right. So we had questions here, and I'll answer some of these questions. Okay. Consuming red pill contents. Okay. There's a question that was here, right? Oh, here we go. Well, I don't know if this is the same one that I was looking at. Hey, Paul, I'm 25, black from Canada, and I have a stutter, which has caused approach anxiety. Yeah, send me an email. Yes, I do have counseling for that, or consultations for that. Send me an email. We'll work on that. We'll work on your game. I've had guys with stutters before. I've had guys with social anxiety before. That's fine, dude. We'll get you squared away. Let's see. Have I done any drugs in my younger years? Yeah, dude. So no, not really. Not really. So I would say, all right. So, I mean, I never even smoked pot, dude. And it's not like I wouldn't try it or something. I think I had a weed brownie on accident once. It was at a party. It was at a work party. Someone brought in weed brownies, and I ended up eating one of them, but I didn't even get high off of it. So whatever. But the thing is, I've always worked in military or government jobs. Well, okay, to rewind even further than that, I had a really dysfunctional upbringing. And so and then I was in competitive martial arts. So the combination of the two, that meant that the competitive martial art, place I was at, my instructors and my coaches were kind of parental figures for me, or father figures. And so those parental figures were like, if you do any drugs, we're going to beat the shit out of you. And, people who do, who are in competition aren't alcoholics, aren't drug addicts, period. People who are doing, competitive or non-competitive martial arts, we just not, the two things don't go together. And if I find out you're at a party, this is like, teenage years, if they found out I was at some party getting wasted, getting high, I would pay for it in the gym. And I watched other peers of mine pay for it in the gym. Some of those peers a few years older than me that I looked up to, they, got word that they had gotten, were found getting wasted and, whatever, causing some trouble. They ended up in the ring getting the crap kicked out of them. So I didn't feel like getting the crap kicked out of me and disappointing my instructors more than anything else when I was younger. So I didn't get involved in the drugs during the time period that most kids would experiment with drugs, teenage years. Later, then, I started getting into jobs that required security clearances and background checks and piss tests. Okay. Still do stuff with the military. They do a piss test. So it's not worth it for me to lose a pension, military career, all that stuff, just to smoke a little weed at a party or something, or to bump a little coke or whatever. So I don't play with any of that stuff, with the exception of hallucinogenics. All right. Now, I'm not going to confirm or deny the use of hallucinogenics because I still play with the military. But that being said, we'll say from a research perspective, I'm very interested in the use of psilocybin in terms of microdosing for handling things like PTSD and handling things like damaged serotonin receptors and some mood regulation stuff. So yeah, very interested in the use of psilocybin for that, and maybe other modalities like that. I won't get into it too much here. But when couldn't do anything like that very much in a public format here, other than from just describing research or anything, because I do still work for the DoD or the military. And even though I don't think they test for that, but any illegal drugs or whatever it is, Schedule C or Schedule 1 drugs are not allowed. So not allowed to do it, but interested in it though, interested in the use of hallucinogenics for therapeutic value. But other than things prescribed by the doctors, no, man, that's been about it. All right. Want to go to Rio, but not necessarily for girls, jiu-jitsu. Yeah, dude, go to Rio to do some jiu-jitsu. You're going to pick up some freaking chicks. That's for sure. I had a question about, it was about marriage or something. Oh, here it is. How can guys rationalize cohabitation anymore, given how many legal systems now equate that to marriage? Yeah, well, I mean, it's a cost benefit analysis, dude. That's all I'm going to say about that. I cohabitate with my LTR and it's great. I'm happy I do that. Now I have a separate place that if shit goes down, I have another place that I'd usually rent out as a vacation property off of a lake that I can escape to, we'll say, if things were to go bad. All right. So I have a place to go where I can just literally pack a bag and leave. Okay. I'm not, it's all about setting up your exit strategy and working within the system that you're in. So laws are going to vary state per state, but it's a cost benefit. There's a ton of benefits from, I mean, you can say, okay, well, women are a risk as well. Why would anybody be with women in this day and age? That's the MGTOW thing, right? Why would anybody be with women? Because women are a risk. So I'm just not going to have women in my life. Well, you can make that decision, but then you don't get the benefits of having women in your life. Okay. And there's a lot of benefits to that, not just sexually, but elsewhere, so you do what you do what benefits you. It's a cost benefit analysis. If you don't think having a particular chick live with you or having a living arrangement with a chick is a benefit, then don't do it. I got a lot of people in this space who stand pat by that. It's certainly easier to maintain frame when you don't live together, but it's not impossible at all, or even close to impossible, to maintain frame in a cohabitation agreement. It just isn't. And you can set up, depending on your state, you can set up your cohabitation where you're not at risk. You're not at financial risk or marital risk or any of that stuff. I mean, it all depends on how you set it up. And of course, maybe in your area, it's a terrible idea, but I mean, I don't know. But basically the short answer is cost benefit analysis. And some guys decide that the benefits outweigh the cost and they make that decision. I've certainly made that decision. I won't get married, and I won't involve the government in that way, but I can cohabitate just fine without it, being a huge, massive risk. If we keep certain things separated and everything like that, it's not this massive risk. And then it's a bunch of benefits without the risks. So that's how that works for me, but you got to decide what you want to do. And certain things like that, I'm not going to tell you what to do, man. You know what I mean? You do what you want. You're certainly a less risk than me if you never cohabitate with a girl. Absolutely. But there are certain benefits though I derive from it, you know? That's why I do it. Do you think the internet age promotes shitty and asshole behavior? Yes, it does. Absolutely. It's yes. Great comments and question. Of course. I mean, the internet creates a separation between you and other people. So people aren't people anymore on the internet. And people are doing things to be outrageous to get clicks, and that's what they're doing. So of course it does. Um, let's see. No, I'm not a Kempo Danny Arnold. I'm not a Kempo practitioner. No. I have friends that are, and I have people who have cross trained with me who have. So I was into really heavy to a form of Arnis, Filipino martial arts, sticks, knives, all that stuff. Balintawak Eskrima from an instructor. Those are things I was really heavy into, got like heavily credentialed in. But I got black belts in Taekwondo. I'm not a black belt yet in jiu-jitsu, Brazilian, but someday, probably 10 years from now, because the rate my training is going. But I just do Brazilian jiu-jitsu because I enjoy it, very much so. Been a little bit restricted with COVID restrictions, unfortunately, and just like boxing, both different forms of boxing. I've done some Thai, done regular American boxing is my favorite though, and dirty boxing, old style boxing, stuff like that. And I just train for my enjoyment now and for my own physical, mental well-being and health. Because I've gotten to a point, I'm not worried about handling myself in a fight at this point. If it's not going to come down to my skill set versus someone else's skill set when it comes to the martial arts. It's going to come down to more stacking the decks in my favor or not in a tactical sense. And that's a whole discussion about how self-defense works versus maybe getting in the ring or whatever. And so I'm I'm not so worried about that stuff. I train, my training now is beyond, okay, I need to defend myself or handle myself. My training now is for simply enjoying the process there. Let's see. Any advice for ambivalent friendships or relatives that hold you back? Yeah. Don't let them hold you back, man. If someone is holding you back, and I'm assuming that means that they're bringing drama and toxicity into your life, keep them at an arm's length. I've had to do that with several friends. It's not that I'm not their friends, not that I don't care about them. It's not that I wouldn't be there for them if they needed something, It's not that I never see them again or I've X'd them out of my life, but there's certain people, for example, I've had friends who've been in toxic relationships who I really can't hang out with them very often when they're embedded in that relationship because they're always dealing with some kind of drama with the chick that they're with. And so it's not only unpleasant, but it's like stressful and it's just not fun. And to embed yourself and I'm going to go hang out with somebody for an evening and he's constantly texting or dealing with some toxic, let's say borderline personality disorder chick. No, like that's not fun for me. And that's not even healthy for me to be around that. So, I mean, if he can't set aside his chick for us to just chill out, hang out and do guy stuff, that might be a situation where I'm still going to be friends with the guy, but man, it's going to be definitely at arm's length. Again, I'm not going to allow shitty people into my life. So if that person who had this toxic relationship was also a shitty person, didn't have good ethics, was what I would call a dishonorable person, well, I wouldn't be friends with them. But this person is an honorable person. He's a good person. We got history together, but man, I just can't hang out with him because he's holding me back from this toxic situation he's in. So that'd be an example. I've had friends too who don't understand, like friends who are not very motivated, not very, they're just not driven towards success. They work dead end jobs or they barely work or whatever. I've had those friends and friends of the family and stuff, friends that grew up with inheritance money. That's another one, or things like that. And they just don't know what it's like to be somebody who's driving towards success in business and entrepreneurship, my lifestyle and the amount of drive that I have every single day is so different than theirs that we're just not on the same level. And so to be around, like I can't hang out with certain friends Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at the bar every weekend, week out, you know what I mean, till 2 a.m. with these guys or whatever, and not accomplish anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's a situation where, yeah, they're still my friends, but they're at arm's length. You know, I can't hang out with them like that because I'm on my own purpose. So handling your family and people that are, you know, a negative force in your life, you just do it at arm's length. You're just not going to call them that much. You're just not going to, you know, you're just not going to make time for them that much because your time needs to be spent on other more productive things. Okay. And that's all it is. You don't need to X them out of your life in some big dramatic breakup or something. You just remove your time, energy, and attention. That's it. Kind of like women for the most part, right? When you're dating casually. Okay. Boom. Buddies. Oh yeah, little FMA fans, Filipino martial art fans. Yeah, man, it's good art. It's good stuff. I enjoy it. How would you think and navigate with a woman you're planning to have kids? Okay, I think you're asking me having kids with. All right. So, yes, you want to have kids with a woman. Well, focus on the relationship structure and the health of that relationship first. Okay? Um there's enough kids in the world, right? There's enough people in the world. I'm not saying don't have kids, okay? I'm saying there's enough people in the world. So, your focus isn't on spitting out, you know, a bunch of little you know, bang trophies all over the place. I mean, that's more of a genetic drive, whatever. And it's good. It's fine. It's fine. But if you don't focus on the health of that relationship first, then you're going to be stuck with a kid with a woman that's maybe not a good mom or a good partner to you. And that is a recipe for disaster. That's how guys ruin themselves and ruin their lives. So you definitely want to focus not on the kid aspect, but focus on the chick and focus on your frame and focus on vetting out or picking a chick that is a good match for a long-term relationship, meaning she has the capabilities of pair bonding and she demonstrates those capabilities. She sees you as her apex alpha or as the best dude she could ever be with, the best dude she could ever have children with, the best out of every dude in her past and present and future. You're the best. Okay. She sees you as that. She's able to pair bond, which means have that emotional bond based on neurochemicals with another person. Those are the two minimum requirements. And then she's a good match for you. She has good personal values, so on. But more so than that is that she's in your frame. And that has to do with creating and setting the frame from the beginning, and then leading the relationship with your frame throughout the entirety of that relationship. Those are the things you need to do. Then when you have little bang trophies out of that relationship and you name it, you know, Steve or whatever your kid's name is. So, anyway, but you get what I'm saying, right? Now that kid has a chance of having a good upbringing with a good mom and a good dad who have a good relationship together. And now that kid has a better chance, you know, than other kids who are not born into that kind of stable environment. So that is my advice on that. Hopefully that makes sense. Take my frame course when it comes out because frame is everything, especially in the global sexual marketplace. And especially if you plan on having children someday with somebody. All right. Yes. Smash the like button. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Thank you. Is it harder for women to cut out negative people from their life when it comes to relatives or friends? Yeah, I think so. Women are just, you know, this guy likes bank trophies. You like that one? It was the original term was F, you know, the F word trophies, but I'm trying to censor myself a little bit here for YouTube. Yeah, I think so, because women are more driven by their social atmosphere, right? Social proof, all that stuff. So I think that that's true. I think it's hard for them to cut out negative forces in their life, probably. I mean, I guess it's going to depend on the chick, though, right? I'm having trouble with casual partners in an ethical sense, given what we know about pair bonding, especially within the context of the decline of the West demographically. God, I feel like I did a video on this like not too long ago. So the ethic, yeah, I did, dude. Check out my thing on Friday. All right, check out Friday's video. It was a sponsored video request. Somebody had similar questions. Okay. That was Jay Dryden. Okay. Check out Friday's video if you haven't seen it yet. That'll help you with your ethics on plate spinning. Okay. And on having a bunch of casual partners and dating, just dating in general, and how you should approach it and sort of your ethical format. Cool. Well, that is the end. I've gone already for 45 minutes and I have other clients I have to attend to. So that is good for today. Thanks for tuning in, guys, for Little Mindset Mondays. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, or you've enjoyed the replay and the answer to some of these key questions. And keep supporting the channel and the content. It helps me out and helps out your fellow man. So share it, like it if you like it, and of course subscribe. And get on my email list too. I haven't sent anything out since like my first thing, but get on it anyways. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.